Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi, Honorable Governor of Sindh, Mr. Imran Ismail, Dr. Raza Bakar, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all thank the organizer of this very important event for inviting me to share my thoughts. I'd like to start by paying tribute to the memory of late Zahid Malik, a devoted patriot who organized the first roundtable conference, and it has been my pleasure of attending most of these conferences. As you all know, that Islamic Banking and the Finance Minister has very aptly pointed out, can meet the challenges which are faced by our society and economy. What are these challenges? You all know these are poverty alleviation, income and regional inequalities, human development, unemployment, and inclusive growth. Let me begin by giving you a possible scenario of the potential of Islamic finance. The practitioners of global finance today all know that impact financing, ethical financing, and particularly environmental, social, and governance financing, which is ESG, are expanding on the global scene quite rapidly. And I have argued before the non-Islamic finance practitioner audiences around the world that Islamic financing incorporates all the salient features of the impact, ethical, and ESG, but has an attractive additive factor, that is asset-based, asset-backed financing, which mitigates the risks inherent in the present global financial architecture. Let me elaborate what this. If you see the cause root of the financial global crisis of 2008, the industry produced exotic products such as the credit default swaps and collateral debt obligations raised to Q, which were stacked up on the piles of additional risks over the underlying risk. And the credit rating agencies failed to comprehend these complex structures of these products. The principal tenet of Islamic finance, as enjoined by Quran, is justice and equity. The rules governing property rights, contracts, distribution and transfer of wealth, use of excessive wealth by individuals beyond moderate limits, entitlements of the poor and downtrodden are all aimed at ensuring justice and equity. Therefore, societal, material, and physical well-being, along with the spiritual well-being, are to be maximized rather than individual self-interest that form the sole basis of the capitalistic system and guided the financial architecture which led to the collapse of the 2008 financial crisis, with tremendous impact on the real economy of the world. Under Islamic finance, the supplier of funds or the investor demands a return on investment ex post after the business transaction has produced the outcome. As the risk of business in Islamic finance is shared between the supplier and the user of the funds, the returns on investment, whether positive or negative, are shared equitably between the two parties in proportion they had agreed. Therefore, this burden of misfortune, of adversity, does not fall upon the borrower, and the supplier does not take it all, which is the tradition in the conventional banking system, while the borrower fund does not become financially insolvent. So there is something inherent in Islamic finance which could have avoided the whole episode, unfortunate, of the global financial crisis. And that is the beauty of propagating Islamic finance as an alternative to the present financial architecture. So we cannot confine this as a faith-based instrument, but we have to take ourselves the responsibility of making the case for Islamic finance as a stabilizing force for the global finance. And this is the point I wanted to emphasize before this audience, because I think the social media would carry the whole message about the efficacy and importance of Islamic finance. Coming to Pakistan, I would like, because of given very limited time, I would like to share with you that from 2001, when we started the Islamic finance in this country in the true sense, and which has come a long way, I would like not to just pat on our back, but looking forward, I would like to point out some of the responsibilities and the challenges which Islamic banking has to overcome. First, I still maintain, and most of you have heard me, that we still have a lack of new products and services. Islamic banks in Pakistan have been too obsessed with making conventional banking products Sharia compliant. To critics, this is nothing more than bells and whistles wrapped around existing products. Secondly, deposit mobilization has picked up the speed, but asset deployment has not kept pace. I know that some of the banks are so liquid that they refuse accepting deposits, which hurts the mobilization of savings for the country. The ratio of financing to deposits is dissimilarly low. Next, as the finance minister said, and I'm not going to repeat, there are underserved and under-neglected sectors which need to be the focus of attention for the Islamic finance. Fifth, the proliferation of Sharia boards at the level of individual financial institutions has led to uncertainty and raises question about the nature and legal force behind these boards. Are they part of the governance structure or decision-making process? I leave it to you to decide. Sixth, the lack of standardization of Islamic products has made transaction costs relatively higher, and the issuance of transaction-based fatwas by Sharia boards lead to lack of transparency and unpredictability. Seventh, investment account holders are neither shareholders nor passive depositors. They are, however, not represented on the governance of the institutions and thus do not have much of a voice. Eighth, the human resource base is becoming a major constraint in the expansion of Islamic banking. Individuals who are trained and competent in basic banking as well as Islamic jurisprudence are limited in supply. Finally, non-bank financial institutions should work with Islamic banking institutions for building a robust Islamic financial system as a whole. Takaful, Mudarba, Islamic mutual funds, and REITs should expand and work in the territories where no financial institutions is working. Thank you very much.
This is Pakistan Observer. Visit our YouTube channel for more informative videos.